Hey guys, I'm Lauren and this is my lunch break. Today I'm making you ginger soy Spam Musubis. Spam Musubis are my favorite snack, especially when I'm missing home. They are super simple to make and so delicious. If you have any Spam haters in your life, you have to make them this recipe. Now let's go on a Spam Musubi journey. First thing we're gonna do is make the sauce. Add the soy sauce, sugar, grated ginger, a little bit of sriracha, some rice vinegar, and finally, I like to add some mirin. The mirin is optional, but I really think it ties all of these flavors together. So now I'm mixing everything together to make essentially a glaze for the fried Spam. Today I'm making Spam Musubis for you guys. This is a super popular snack food in Hawaii, where I grew up. And you can basically make it a bunch of different ways, but the foundation is Spam, a block of rice, and it's wrapped together with some seaweed. You can add some egg on there, you can add some rice seasonings, you can even flavor the Spam however you like, but that Spam needs to be fried nice and crispy. This is really important because even though Spam Musubis are essentially a sort of Spam sushi, you might say, you aren't actually seasoning the rice like you would with sushi, so it's important to put a lot of flavor into the Spam. I've mixed everything together and now I'm gonna pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to help melt the sugar. The sauce is looking great, the sugar's all melted, and now we're just gonna prep our Spam and our seaweed. We're just gonna cut these pieces into thirds. So I've got these strips here, we'll just set these to the side. And now we're gonna cut our Spam into 8 equal pieces. And essentially when I think of Spam Musubis, I think of eating them sitting in the sand, probably with a Capri Sun. My favorite will always be my mom's homemade ones because, you know, that's home for me. So I cut these into 8 even pieces and they're pretty even if I do say so myself. What we're gonna do now is just set them aside and then we're gonna fry them up. Add a tiny bit of oil to the pan, just a little bit though because the Spam already has a lot of oil. I'm just gonna put these in one by one. We're just basically gonna fry these up until they're nice and crispy before we add in the sauce. So we moved to Hawaii when I was 5 and at first my mom would make Spam Musubis using bottled teriyaki sauce from the store. But then she realized she could make her own pretty easily, and that's where she came up with her ratio of 1 part soy, 1 part sugar, 1 part mirin. Growing up in Hawaii, I'd say my comfort food is definitely a little more unusual. We grew up eating a ton of rice. My dad was actually raised in Korea as a kid, and my mom spent a lot of her childhood in Japan. And that combined with living in Hawaii meant we ate a lot of rice. So for me, I'd say comfort food is a big bowl of white rice with a little bit of soy sauce or rice seasoning. But of course, you know, my family's still pretty American, so my other comfort food would probably have to be just like a huge bowl of spaghetti bolognese with a nice red sauce. These are starting to smell amazing, and I think they're ready to flip, so let's test one out. Oh yeah, these are looking great. So what you're looking for is this really nice like dark golden brown color. I'd say it's gonna be around 3 to 4 minutes aside to get it nice and crispy. Now that these are nice and crispy, we're gonna add our sauce. We're just gonna let it simmer in the sauce for a little bit. Oh my gosh, it already smells so good. Something else that's really important in this recipe is to make sure to use either minced fresh ginger or ginger paste. You don't wanna use ginger powder because it's not gonna give you that same gingery floral kick. We're just gonna set these aside while we set up our assembly station. Here I have my assembly station. I've got my nice musubi mold, I've got my warm rice, I've got my seaweed, and of course, the Spam. So what I'm gonna do is just take around 3/4 cup of rice and add it to the mold. You can eyeball it. Basically, you're just gonna be pressing down on the rice, so you can pretty much just fill it. I like a nice middle ground, you know, I don't like too much rice, but I like there to be enough that it's firm and kind of holds everything together. My parents were raised, you know, for part of their childhoods in Asia, and we grew up in Hawaii, which has a ton of Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Filipino influence. I'd say my cooking style kind of leans a little more East Asian. Combined with the fact that I've lived in China for over 6 years, I really like to incorporate those flavors into my dishes. But of course, you know, I am American at my core, so I grew up eating a lot of, you know, pizza, pasta, hot dogs, sandwiches. But I think that the flavors from Japanese and Chinese and Korean cooking have a lot of influence on the food that I cook. But honestly, I'm still trying to figure out my cooking style. So one of my favorite sort of fusion dishes that I've made was actually I like to call it a hot pot pizza. So hot pot is, you know, Chinese cooking where you cook in a pot of broth and you have your little sauce on the sides, usually some sesame, vinegar, garlic kind of situation. And you will cook, you know, meat and vegetables in the broth. The base of the pizza, like the tomato sauce, was actually a hot pot sauce. And then of course you had your mozzarella cheese, but then it also had, you know, cilantro and some peanuts, these beef rolls that you get for hot pot. And that was a hit. I think that went over really well. So after that, we'll grab a piece of Spam and we're just gonna set this right on top. Oh my gosh, delicious. So then I've got a piece of seaweed here, the seaweed we cut earlier, and that's just gonna go right there on top. And I'm gonna press this down along the sides, and then I like to flip it over, put one piece down, and I take a little bit of water to help it seal. And there you go, Spam Musubi. These babies are all done. They're looking beautiful. I'm just gonna plate them up so I can serve them to my team. And if you do plan on transporting these, I recommend wrapping them in some, you know, wax paper or even plastic wrap. And again, try to eat them same day. They're definitely not as good the next day. Seaweed gets a little soggy, the rice gets a little dry. This is a same day kind of meal. The Spam Musubis are ready to go. They are looking delicious and they came together so fast. A little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, and perfect for your next beach day. I can't wait to share these with the office. See you next time.